Hi everyone, welcome back to Just-ok-wargamer. Raymond here, looking at Oathmark Battle of the Lost Ages and the up and coming second edition of the book. Looking at some possible inclusions that they could have to make a already great game a lot better. Just for some examples of what I'm going to look at today, I've set up these Old Skaven, which are my Orc and Goblin force, alongside these Bretonians, who are a human force. The two things I want to talk about today are the activation system and the combat system. Both those systems in Oathmark Battle of Lost Ages are very, very solid. So it has the alternating activation system. So the humans can activate one unit, say the spearmen, and then the Skaven could go and they might activate the red ogres. Humans would go, they could activate their archers, so forth and so on. So it's a really different system to, say, Warhammer, where you move all your units, you shoot all your units, do all your magic, then do all of your combat, and then your opponent gets a go. It makes for a much more tactical game, I feel, and it kind of, it puts you always into the place of needing to be thinking about what your opponent's going to be doing next, because you don't have total control. That's the alternating activation system. And then the other part of that system is to activate a unit, they essentially need to do a morale check. So they need to roll 2 dice, and one of the dice has to be higher than their activation statistic. So humans have an activation of 5. So these humans are going to go and they get a 2, which is not enough, but the 8 is more than enough. And so the unit would activate and be able to do two actions. Otherwise, it just gets, if it fails it will just do one simple action. So it won't be able to go into combat or anything. That system I really like. What I would like to see is a bigger incentive to have some form of battle line and being able to maintain that battle line when you activate units. So what that might look like, at the moment, the only way you can do that is with a captain who's got command 1. So that means, say this is my captain in here, they would activate and they can activate another unit. So this unit can move up into combat, and then afterwards this unit can move up into combat and would therefore be protecting this unit's flank. You can also do that with a general who has command 2. So if you had your general over here, they might be able to command the archers to shoot at these line breakers. Then the spearmen could charge into the weakened unit, and then this unit would be able to charge in to the spearmen. Saying that, the captain and the general, they're quite expensive point-wise. A human king model might be a couple of hundred points, so it's a big investment just to be able to have that ability. What I'd like to see is that ability to be more widespread. So my change that I think would be good would be to have champions to have command 1, captains to have command 2, and generals to have command 3. That way it'd be easier to get access to that command ability, and you'd have more likelihood that you'd be able to activate your units and coordinate some form of attack without the risk of being flanked in the next activation by that other unit and having this kind of like cascading flanking situation. So I think that would be the only change that I'd make to that activation system, is to have more command ability to coordinate an attack and maintain those big battle lines. Because Oathmark Battle of Lost Ages is a rank and flank game, I think it's really important for the game to benefit those rank and flank units, and just to have, your monsters, your dragons, and your wizards, and even your kings and captains as a support role. Yes, I want spells to be in the game, but I don't want the spells to be taking out entire units. I don't want catapults to be taking out entire units. Instead, what I want is my battle lines to be clashing and for the big battle to be in that struggle. So saying that, looking at the combat system in Oathmark is excellent. When you have a unit get into combat with another, it's only ever going to be 1 versus 1. Okay, so you can't have 2 units do a multi-charge. I quite like that, keeps it nice and simple. Most of the time, as long as you have at least 5 kind of human-sized models, you are going to be rolling 5 dice. 5 dice. And you will get bonuses dice depending on your fight factor and how many ranks you have. So no rolling, 20 or 30 dice and needing to re-roll those dice again and again. Instead, you just roll 5 dice, roll them once, and that'll get your result. So it's really, really straightforward, and it's great that it uses that D10 system, so you have more variety than the D6. I do think what I'd like to have is, going back onto that battle line, some type of benefit of having your flanks covered. So yes, I know you get the benefit that this unit can now flank the humans, even if the humans win the battle. That's great, but I think if we had the change where you had multiple units coming in at once, or you have a bigger chance of having multiple units coming in at once, so maybe these human spearmen come in as well, then it would be really great to have some type of benefit of the fact that you have made a big solid battle line. And then it would make it more of an incentive to make those battle lines and less of an incentive just to charge, a big Surma or a big dragon into the middle of these line breakers, knowing that it's just going to destroy everything. So the change that I would make is that, yes, you have those more activations, but then for each of your flanks that are covered, the unit which has the flanks covered, so these orc line breakers have their flank covered by these trolls and by the spearmen. So each flank covered, you could get a morale bonus. So it could be +1 to those morale checks you need to make so that you don't become disordered. So you're more likely to stay in an orderly fashion if you have a whole bunch of support on either side of you. You could take it a step further, and I think you could possibly reduce the fight factor of every unit by 1 in the game to balance it, but then you increase fight by 1 for each flank covered. So these line breakers, say, might have a fight value of 2, but then since both flanks are covered, they're going to increase their fight by 2, just to represent that these units here aren't necessarily just going to be standing idle, all right? Because it's meant to be a much larger amount of models than the figures actually represent. This will then incentivize charging in with your own units to mitigate that +1 bonus to the fight factor. Or it could be that you want to, say these spearmen are not there. It does give you an incentive to actually move your cavalry up, even though they can't get into the combat, but they can help maintain that battle line and give this unit that extra fight value. And that's it. That's the only thing I'd really change to the combat system. So that's the activation system and the combat system, the two major systems of the game, and the two probably most important ones. And they're the only two changes which I could possibly think of to make. So in the comments, let me know what you think. Is there anything that you want to see change for the second edition for the activation system and the combat system? And in the next video, I'll probably be looking at everything else. So I'll look at the magic and mainly the shooting system, because I think that's the main one that possibly needs a bit more of a working over in terms of changes. So till then, I shall see you later.